and welcome along to the second episode of the Jim and Jam show on the Eloquent Arsenal. It's been about 4 or 5 months since the last one. We said we'd do this monthly, we just didn't tell you which month we'd be doing it on. James, how you doing, bro?
What's up,
you good? It's great to have you back.
Yeah,
and it's great to be back. It's great to be doing one of these shows. COVID's starting to ease off, hopefully, for the UK.
Yep.
Looking good. Going straight into it, looking good. I would say that's probably not a description of either of our teams since we last spoke. Obviously, last time we spoke, Arsenal beat Man United 1-0 at Old Trafford for the first time in God knows how long. But after that, United went on a blistering run. Looked like sort of December time and January, title challenge talking about. Where do you think, just quickly delving into the Premier League title challenge, where do you think that's gone wrong, and what do you think? I mean, really, you started off after that Arsenal game on fire. After that, take us through the last few months in your from your fans' perspective.
For me, I hate watching United play with sort of the four at the back, which is kind of your standard. It's the two defensive midfielders that bugs the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, United's identity has always been attack, attack, attack. It's the best form of defence.
Yeah.
But we go into games with like McTominay and Fred, or McTominay and Matic, with like Bruno, and then this front three of Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood most of the time. The two defensive midfielders, I think he has to play two to try and compensate. To have, like, we don't have that one, like we don't have a Declan Rice in the United side. We haven't got that one player that you could put there to do the job.
And you think about all the top teams, Man City is Rodri, Chelsea a bit different, but they've got the options. They've got Kante, Jorginho, they've got Kovacic, they've got Mount. I know he's more attacking, but they've got good controllers in that midfield of the ball, for nothing else. Even like Liverpool with people like Fabinho or Keita or Henderson, someone strong in that midfield. It's not fair to bring in Arsenal really to this because we're so poor this season, but you haven't got a Thomas Partey or, like you said, Declan Rice or Souček even from West Ham. Someone like that sits in that area. And I've seen this quite a few times, people talking about it with United, which is a frustration, is that transition. So ball, and actually we saw it, we'll touch on this in a minute, but we saw it in the Leicester game yesterday. Maguire into Fred. Fred isn't good enough on the ball with his fake Brazilian passport. He's not Brazilian, but gets it into Fred, and then it goes nowhere. It has, then it's back to Henderson, and Iheanacho was in, but actually that typifies exactly what United are missing. I think
100%. And for me, like, Matic is too old now. He doesn't have the pace.
Definitely.
McTominay, for me, could be that player, but he lacks in certain areas. He's good at most things, but he lacks at certain things, which I think that's why Fred is there to kind of.
I'm interested with this because I have to say I can't stand McTominay from an opposition point of view. I don't know what it is about him. I'm just not keen on him. But what things does he have that are good, and what things do you think he needs improving?
His mentality is to go forward, and I love that. Like, very rarely, if you watch him, he plays a side-to-side ball or a ball back. He's always got his head up, and he's looking for either a cross-field ball or playing it into like a winger or playing into Fernandes. But you touched on midfielders. Who would have ever thought you would struggle to get Pogba and Fernandes in a team? Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, for me.
Sorry, go on.
For me, surely that is a dream for a manager to have someone the like.
Two of the best attacking midfielders in European football.
Yeah. If I was Solskjaer, surely you'd have like Fernandes. Arguably, is probably a better attacking midfielder.
Yeah. I would say Pogba isn't really an attacking mid. He's more of a number 8 sort of thing, where he's not a box to box, but he's a. He is like a sort of almost like a creative CDM where he can come get the ball off the back four, turn, and he can look up and he can spray a 60-yard ball out wide, or play a clever ball in behind to like Fernandes or someone like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's the midfield. That's one area which is a problem. And our strikers, we're so reliant on Rashford. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Martial is a shadow of himself. I think we spoke about it on the
last we did, and I said about swapping Martial with Lacazette. I wouldn't now.
Like Martial, like I look at him and I'm just like, do you even really want to be there? Like,
yeah.
It's that kind of attitude.
Do you think Martial has an attitude problem, or do you? But do you think that's inherent in Martial, or do you think it's that? Because I've heard a few people talk about this. Being a striker for Man United is like the graveyard shift.
Yeah.
You get no supply, you get no service, you very rarely get players close to you, and when you do get the ball, you've got to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And you might get Fernandes involved if he can get back up the pitch quick enough because he's being dragged back to go collect the ball from deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, United. I mean, what did you make of the title chat? You know, the title chat around December, January. I mean, you raise your eyebrows now, but there must have been a part of you that thought...
There was part of me that was hopeful, and the way we were playing at the time, I honestly thought we'd push City. I never thought in a million years that we'd win the league, but I thought we'd really push City, like within a couple of points of them, or we would stay, you know, a couple of points
maybe like a game or two. Yeah,
a game or two in touching distance of them, and then it just fell off.
Sheffield United. Was it the Sheffield United defeat?
Yeah.
Was that the sort of the major first one? And then I've seen it.
We just went on a bad run after that. It was terrible.
Yeah, the draw against us. The Sheffield United was a defeat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was another one in there somewhere. Palace draw.
Yeah.
And there was one more.
Can't
think of the other one.
Yeah.
There was another. There was
another
poor result.
West Brom.
Oh yeah, West Brom.
Yeah, West Brom.
And you know, if you're going to be challenging for a title, and listen, as an Arsenal fan, I really can't talk, but in fairness, if you're going to challenge for a title, we know this because we've watched our teams win titles. You can't drop points against those teams. You can afford to draw against a City or a Liverpool a couple of times a season. You're going to have to win one of those games against them, but the away games maybe, or I mean, obviously with COVID, it's been a bit difficult to have that away and home form change, but. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you know, those games are where you decide who's title winners. You've got Man City going to Burnley and smashing them 4-0, whatever it was. Or...
Again, it goes back to like the West Brom game, the Sheffield United game, the Palace game. Solskjaer went in there with that same game plan: 4 at the back, 2 defensive midfielders,
almost like a back 6.
Yeah, like a back 6, and one striker spearheading the attack with effectively Rashford and Greenwood coming off the wings. Rashford is not a winger. He is a striker.
Yeah.
And he needs to play behind a striker.
He almost needs to play. If you're going to play that 3, Rashford needs to be close.
Yeah.
It can't be wide.
No.
I know he does the odd good thing, cutting in on his right and pinging one in the top bins, but he isn't that player. You can't rely on that every week.
No.
You've either got to get him close to the number 9. So he's like a 10, or almost play with like a 2 10s.
Yeah, definitely. And you see it with Greenwood. Like Greenwood will give you little flashes of brilliance, because he can cut in off the right or from the left.
I mean, the goal he scored yesterday, I thought was an excellent finish.
Yeah.
Clever bit of play by Pogba, great dummy by Van der Beek. And that's where, when you do get quality players, and listen, I don't like United, I don't, but that's where quality players come into their own. Clever ball by Pogba, good shout from Greenwood. Van der Beek got the intelligence to say, I will leave it, and Greenwood can't,
But you'll only get that with Greenwood every 3 or 4 games.
That's his age, isn't he? He's young, he's developing. And he's not a right winger, so he's coming in from the right with his left foot. It's one of those. But I guess the first thing to talk about really is yesterday. I have to be honest. Well, let's talk about the Arsenal game first yesterday, because at about 32 minutes into the game, I think it was, I was like, oh my god, what is going on?
What was the score at that point? It was like
3-0 West Ham.
Yeah, 3-0 West Ham.
And I was like, oh my god. Like, what is actually going on? This is like Wenger era stuff, this is like horrendous. Not like good Wenger era, we're talking like bad Wenger era. And I was like, oh my gosh. Credit where credit's due. Team showed great character. Don't think anyone can deny the players are playing for the manager. 3-3 in the context of 3-0 was a good result. I'm not happy with the result in the end, because whilst, don't get me wrong, West Ham have been unbelievable this season. I have a bit of a soft spot for West Ham. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just quite like them. Maybe it's Green Street.
Maybe.
But something about West Ham I just like, and like some of their players. I really like Mikel Antonio. I really like Souček. I really like Declan Rice. Fabianski's an old Arsenal boy as well. I like Ogbonna. I think he's a top player.
Even the rejuvenated Lingard. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, I can't stand the geezer, but he's come out of nowhere. He scored a cracking goal yesterday. I think he's got 5 goals and a couple of assists as well. So
selected for the England team.
Yeah, back in the England squad as well.
2 years.
Yeah, and he's 27.
Yeah.
So he's, if he can get a run of games, it would be a great move for him personally if you go West Ham.
Yeah.
Stay there. If Man United could pick up 10-15 million quid for him, from a player that was basically rotting on the bench, it makes sense. So yeah, I mean, look, from an Arsenal perspective, I don't want to dwell on it too much. Our season is finished in terms of the Premier League. Our season is done. Your season is probably done in relation to the fact that you're going to get second or third. I think you'll probably get second. I think you'll do it. I think you've got enough, and I think that tactic of hitting teams on the counter will work. In terms of you're not going to concede a lot of goals that way, and eventually, because you do have quality up front with attitude problem or not, Martial is is a good player. Bruno Fernandes obviously been on fire since he arrived. Just over a year ago, a year and a bit.
It was January last season.
Yeah. So he's been unbelievable since then. Pogba's back fit by the look of it. Now there's an international break, so a bit of a rest. I think you've probably got enough to get over the line. I think. I think if you look at it, United have probably got but the season is done in the sense of you're not going to finish top. So the two competitions you had left were the FA Cup and the Europa League. Yeah. Well, you've had a great draw in the Europa League against Granada. Probably can't take them for granted, but the chances are that's done and dusted. Yeah. But the FA Cup was a great opportunity, not only to win a trophy for United under Solskjaer, but to stop City win a quadruple. Yeah,
definitely. And do you know what? For me, and you'll probably agree, if you've got a chance to go and win a cup, surely you play your best side. It's a quarter-final. So, arguably, the best left-back in Europe at the moment, in Luke Shaw, you leave him out.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, yes, he goes missing sometimes in the big games, but
he turns up. He turns up.
He turns up. You left him off. Martial hasn't scored in
however long.
But you've got someone like Cavani on the bench who will bag you a goal.
And the thing about Cavani is, I know he's been injured, but if he's fit enough for the bench, there's the old argument of he's got to be fit enough to play. Yeah. In which case, start him and then take him. Get the job done, as they say, and then take him off after 100%. 60 minutes.
And I can't help but think there was a lot of whispers before. So when we play Sunday, so there was a lot of whispers in Friday's and Saturday's paper that Van der Beek wants to leave in the window.
I saw that. Yeah.
I can't help but think Solskjaer has tried to appease Van der Beek and play him in the Leicester games. You're playing the quarter-final against Leicester. The guy hasn't started in a dozen games. Yeah. How do you expect him to come in and all of a sudden work miracles against Leicester, who are a very, very good side?
They've got a great team. They've had a few poor results recently. They lost against us, which on paper is a poor result given our league positions. You're right. Against a good midfield. Indeed, he is unbelievable. I mean, I'd love Arsenal to go out and get someone like him. We won't. But and why would he leave Leicester to go Arsenal? But he's a quality. I saw him yesterday. I thought he's an absolute machine. I think he's won the most tackles out of any defensive midfielder in the Premier League.
I watched the game yesterday, and he just the Leicester midfield in general were just
what was it? Ndidi and Tielemans. They played I think they played. Was it a sort of a back five? They had obviously Schmeichel in goal, and then they had. Albrighton on one side, I can't remember the left back, but they had Fofana, Evans and Sionchu at the back, and then Ndidi and Tielemans, Iosi Perez, what's the lad's name?
Barnes?
No, he wasn't playing, was he? Barnes, Vardy, and Iheanacho.
Iheanacho,
How can I forget about him?
Yeah.
In the game. But I think you're right. Putting Van der Beek in a game like that, it's unfair.
Yeah, of course, and it's just going to make him look bad again.
Yeah.
And you say United had this chance to go and win a trophy. I read a stat walking over here, and since Solskjaer won the league with Molde in Norway, he's had 22 opportunities to win a trophy.
22.
22.
And at both Molde and United.
At Molde and United, and he's not won any of them.
Wow.
That, for me,
that's a hell of a stat. That's a great stat attack. That is, mate.
Last season,
that's quite shocking.
Yeah, last season we were in 4 semi-finals or 3 semi-finals, didn't win any of them. But to have the opportunity for 22 times and not win one cup,
that's mad. That's mad.
It bothers me as a fan. It really does.
Where are you on? I don't think he'll go anywhere right now.
No,
anyway.
he won't.
I think if he gets top 4, he'll probably get a new deal. But where do you sit? Do you want him to get a new deal at the end of the season?
I think on the last video I said to you, my heart wants him to do well.
Yeah.
But my head is saying he's not the person that's going to see United into that transitional era like Klopp did at Liverpool. Yeah. I don't see Solskjaer having that same effect, and I don't see United going out and spending 200 million on players like City do to transform to go into that next step.
Yeah.
So I want him to do well. I just think every year it's going to be the same thing.
I was watching a bit of United Stand actually earlier on, listening to Mark Goldridge talk about. There's a very similar pattern forming between Mourinho and Solskjaer. Yeah. The tactics are similar in the sense of defensive, catch teams on the counter, sort of favourites being picked. Although there isn't the dressing room unrest, which is probably why Ole will keep his job, and also the fact that he's kept people happy, so they've played a bit better, and there is a theme. There's a theme coming.
100%, and teams will begin to figure that out, especially the teams lower down the table. They will figure that out. Because they'll sit back as well. And as soon as United come up a team that just sit back, it's as if they don't know how to play.
Yeah.
Like the game against City when we won, it was evident that City come at us. And we won that game comfortably.
The weird thing about that game was, in that game as well, I remember seeing it on Twitter and talking to people about it. McTominay, was it McTominay who started? Yeah, it was. McTominay and Fred started, and they were horrendous in that game, and you still won. That's the mad thing, And this CDM thing you were talking about previously, just going back to it quickly, is a real problem for Man United because I don't think McTominay or Fred gets into any of the top 10 teams in the Premier League. Genuinely, I'm not even
on their own. On their own, I don't think.
Banter aside, I really don't think they do.
No.
And even Arsenal, with Xhaka and Partey. Listen, Partey is definitely quality, but even Xhaka, Ceballos, El Neni, I think I'd probably trust El Neni more than Fred.
100%.
And which is mad because El Neni is a lovely guy. Real workhorse, but he just does what he says on the tin. There is no more.
Definitely. And McTominay at United is just the best of a bad bunch.
I think that's a great point.
He's just the best.
You're saying there's something in him, but it's not a Roy Keane.
No,
it's not even a Nicky Butt or certainly not Pogba. I'm trying to think. Even someone like thinking outside the box, but even someone like Veron, who he had for a while. No. Veron was probably. A better contributor to the overall. Yes, he was playing in a better side, but I'm just saying, but you think about like Paul Scholes as well. It's just unbelievable the type of players you've had, and so how do you feel about going out the FA Cup? That was a great opportunity, like we've said.
I'm gutted. It would have been nice to finish the season with a trophy because we did play so well at the beginning. I'm gutted. Gutted. And to be honest, I don't think we'll win the Europa League either.
You don't?
No.
Well, that moves us nicely on, because I was going to say, what do we say about the Europa League? There was a great chance, I say a great chance, there is a chance of an Arsenal-Man United final.
Yeah.
You've got to get, obviously, past Granada, but then you've got probably I don't want to touch wood, but, Arsenal probably got a slightly easier
run
teams versus, obviously, you'd have to come up against potentially Ajax or Roma.
Yeah.
Who would you rather face? Let's take Granada out, let's just assume we get through. Who would you rather face? Ajax or Roma?
Probably Roma, out of the two.
But I think there's in Serie A.
Yeah, it just goes back to the stat I was saying earlier about the 22 opportunities. It's going to be another, we'll get to the semi-final or something, and there'll be poor decisions from the manager. The reason we lost against Leicester was a poor decision from the manager. It's a poor starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to do, because it's two legs, is he going to play a weaker side? Essentially is going to cost us. I don't know.
The other thing, so just flicking back to that Leicester game, the other weird thing, and I was cooking the roast dinner yesterday, and I had it on in the background, and they said, a commentator on BBC said, here come 4 changes by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I thought, oh, okay, 60 odd minutes, he's doing something proactive, and he took off Van der Beek and Pogba and Telles, who were 3. All right, Telles was playing left back, but he's an attack-minded left back. Yeah. And your 2 creative midfielders off for McTominay.
Yeah.
All right, Luke Shaw. Fit in fairness, that's probably that is an upgrade in that position on the day. But McTominay comes on, Cavani comes on, and Diallo. Was that the same time? No, that was later.
Oh, was it later?
That was later. He took Fred off eventually on 83 minutes.
But again, even that
the other changes. But.
Even that, bringing on an inexperienced, just turned 18.
Yeah. Scored a great goal though against AC Milan. It was unbelievable.
He started the game though. Started that game. But how do you bring on an inexperienced 18-year-old, 83, 85 minutes into the game?
What's he supposed to do?
And expect him to work miracles?
It's not going to happen.
No.
No, it's mad. So, I mean, okay, so you'd probably rather face Roma. I think Ajax are a better footballing side than Roma, and I think, a bit like what you were saying, is that, well, saying that, if you play a better footballing side, they might get caught by the counter-attack. But, yeah, I think probably Roma are probably, technically speaking, are the weaker of the two, but then you've got the added kind of complexity of Smalling, plays for Roma. Yeah. Mkhitaryan plays for Roma. So there's
arguably,
tasty things.
United were very lucky to get past AC Milan. Very lucky.
I mean, I thought the first leg. Sorry to interrupt you. I thought the first leg, obviously the offside goal was offside, but Kessie's goal was superb. Yeah. And I've seen that. I've watched that again on YouTube. I can't see a handball. No, I actually can't see it.
I can't see a handball.
So
I think over 2 legs they were fantastic. They were really good, solid.
I think the first leg, United, because don't forget Dan James and Maguire missed 2 brilliant chances. And they scuffed their lines. But I think probably over 2 legs, Man United deserved to go through. But I think you're right. I think that they rode their luck. And let's be honest, in the first leg, AC Milan had like 6-7 players out injured. And I think AC Milan were probably naive in the second leg. They probably could have gone about that differently. So, let's just say then, so let's hypothetical. So, Arsenal, Man United, Arsenal beat Slavia Prague, and let's say Unai Emery's Villarreal beat Dinamo Zagreb, and then Arsenal beat Villarreal, you beat Granada, and let's say Roma. How do you fancy the chances in the final?
If it's anything like the game 4 or 5 months ago,
yeah.
That's the thing about Arsenal. Like, I know you haven't been playing great, but when you do play well, you play really well. Like, even the West Ham game, you played really well to come back to bring it. Like, that shows excellent character to be 3-0 down and have that mentality to be like, you could have lied down and took it, and it could have been 4 or 5-0.
Yeah.
You come back and you drew 3-0. Like, the problem with United. And I worry that if we go up against a team like Arsenal, if we deploy that 2 defensive midfielder bollocks, and we come up against Arsenal, who are a very good attacking threat on their day, I don't know, man. It's tough to call, but I'm not confident in our chances. I don't think on the day United have that mentality to get over the line. I don't think they do.
I'm kind of a different opinion where I would have probably preferred United over 2 legs. Yeah. Because I feel like over 2 legs, Arteta could have probably outdone Ollie. Whereas I think on a one-off match, Pogba or Fernandes or Rashford, they can do one thing, bang, goal, and you're finished, you're out, and or you lose the final, and it's a shocker. So that's a bit mad. But the last thing I wanted to touch on with you, just very quickly before we go, is it's been wicked to do another one of these. Is Slavia Prague versus Rangers, and the racist incident with Glenn Kamara, ex-Arsenal boy as well. I saw a thing on Twitter actually that was saying, should Arsenal boycott the Europa League quarter-final because of what happened with Slavia Prague? And I responded and I said, I don't think it's not Arsenal's responsibility to drop out of the competition. One, it gives Slavia a bye, so they're into the semi-final, raising their profile. Should we really be raising the profile of potentially? I'm not saying Slavia Prague are a racist club. No. What I'm saying is they may, and it's allegedly at the minute, but they allegedly have a player who was racist in that instant, and you are harbouring that player. Therefore, you as a club take responsibility. The same way if I call you up and you call me a prick on the phone and I complain to your boss, your company takes responsibility for you and they fire you.
Yeah, definitely.
Slavia Prague haven't sacked the player. Slavia Prague haven't even come out and apologised as far as I know for the incident. They've released a statement and they did a Say No to Racism video.
Yeah. It's not enough.
That's not enough.
Yeah, I don't know why UEFA aren't doing more, like whether or not they, kicking them out of the competition. And I know that sounds really harsh, but is it going to take something like that?
That's what I think.
For teams to take note now that, like you say, it's their player.
Yeah.
surely you should be responsible for that player and his actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, you go into the Arsenal game, so it's over 2 legs, you go in with a 2-0 deficit. I don't know.
Yeah, something. But UEFA have to do. And the problem is with UEFA, they won't do very much.
No.
They'll slap them with a fucking 10 quid fine or something and say don't do it again.
Yeah.
I think because I said on Twitter, tell me if you think this is harsh, but my response was it should be a 2-year ban from all European competitions for Slavia Prague. It should be a lifetime ban, like career-ending ban for the player, and it should be for any fan that, because I saw a post on Instagram of like the Slavia Prague fans saying something racist on a banner, that it should be, and I said all fans that do that should be banned from all social media platforms for life.
Yep. It
should be the end of. So 2-year ban for Slavia Prague as a team from Europe to get the house in order. The player gets a lifetime ban from, in my opinion, from football.
Yep.
That's the end of it. And then obviously the fans on social
media.
media.
No,
it sounds harsh. It sounds harsh.
Do you know what?
But my point is, sorry, just quickly, is that no, it isn't harsh.
No.
Because we're in 2021. Yeah, we have had Black Lives Matter. We've had all sorts of movements over the last, I'd say 15, 20 years. And good movements, positive movements towards a fairer, more equal society. And we sit here now, in 2021, with Slavia Prague players calling a black player a monkey. What?
Yeah.
That is utterly obscene, and it needs to. If you can't say kick it out of the game and
then allow it to happen. Yeah,
and the thing is, I do agree. I saw someone say that yes, obviously we're angry at the Slavia Prague player, we're angry at this, we're angry at that. But ultimately the blame lies with UEFA because they don't have severe punishments for this action. If a player knows you do that, you're banned for life from the game, the career you want, the career you love. Yeah. And the amount of people, James, honestly, on Twitter, that were telling me that I was being harsh and that it was a game fraught with emotion, and it was hot heat at the moment. It was something you shouldn't have said, but it was emotion. Are they joking?
I mean, this is completely off football, and I don't know if you read about it, but there was a photo that come out a couple of years ago of a horse trainer sitting on a dead horse.
Yeah.
When that photo come out, the governing body for horse racing banned him from all racing. Anything to do with racing for the next 12 months. Now, arguably, football is the biggest sport in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Sitting on a dead horse, you get 12 months ban, but you can call someone a monkey and nothing can happen.
Yeah. Or next to nothing.
Or next to nothing. Like, he'll get a slap of the wrist from his club, but he'll still get paid next week. Any money will get paid next week.
Yeah, probably.
How is that spectrum? Why is the calling someone a monkey not as important as sitting on a dead horse?
Yeah, I agree.
And making fun of it,
And the thing is, no one's saying that sitting on the dead horse is not a bad thing.
No,
it was a horrendous thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we're talking, if we put the human element into this, you're calling a fellow human being a very racist, derogatory term.
Yeah.
And that is not acceptable. Society doesn't agree with it, and you continue. I have to say, mate, I am so done with racism and. Not in terms of talking about it and dealing with it, but in terms of people being racist in football. Not in society, obviously, but in the context of football. I'm so done with it.
I know Zaha is getting a lot of stick about it at the moment, but he's not taking the knee because he's saying it's not enough. It's not enough.
I agree with him 100%. And actually, I think it was Zaha who made a point of, why am I getting on my knee?
Yeah.
Like, I should be standing proud as a black man. Yeah. I should be standing up proud. What am I taking the knee for?
Yeah. No.
And I agree with him. Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying stop the black taking the knee.
No.
Because there needs to be recognition of this movement. Yeah. But something has got to change.
All the players across the country, across Europe, are doing it. But then you can't have, like you say, the same thing happen in a game governed by this massive body called UEFA and do nothing about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's only I've got no words for it, but. Yeah, it's really bad.
I agree. So to wrap up, we've got the international break coming up.
Yep.
Boring as hell. Can't bother to watch it. I know you. Listen, you're more of an England fan than I am. But listen, I want us to win.
Yeah.
But I'm not interested. But the big games, I think, for Arsenal, Man United coming up after the international break are those Europa League games.
Yeah.
So they're
going to make or break the season, aren't they? Really.
What do you think genuinely your chances at this point of the Europa League?
I think we need to see what team comes back out after the international break.
Yeah.
Solskjaer was saying in the press yesterday he feels like the team need a bit of a break. Okay, fine. They've had there's a lot of games crammed into a very short space of time.
From Christmas to March.
It's like a game every 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then training in between. So fatigue, I know, is going to be a factor. But let's see what team come back out after. I want to get to the final, obviously, because it's going to be another chance to get into the Champions League, like automatically qualify the Champions League. But I won't want to comment until I see what team come back out. Yeah.
And there's one last thing that we do need to talk about. Tottenham are shit. Mourinho is shit. Thank you for watching the Eloquent Arsenal Jim and Jam show. See you soon. See you next time. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man.